Welcome to the Lights, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, Rant. As always, I'm your wonderful host, Mr. Rant, and I've got a very special guest today. I've got Andy from the Galactic podcast. How are you going, man?
I am all good, Mr. Ron. I am very well. Thank you very much for having me on again. More Star Wars chat, as always. Always glad to be here for that.
I couldn't think of a better man to do this, man. It's feels like it's been a while. It has actually been a while since you were on here last. This is your fifth appearance, and the last time you were on here was episode, I think 165, where we did the combination episode of both the final of The Boys and Acolyte.
Yeah, nice. Been a little while then, although the fact that I'm such a regular is absolutely amazing. I appreciate always the return visits, buddy.
No, I appreciate it. I just can't actually. It's funny because I was looking back, and I thought, "Holy shit! Has Acolyte been really that long ago since Acolyte?"
When was it? When was that?
A year, well over a year ago now. Because a year ago, yeah, for
Can't have been that long, surely. Damn.
Well, we're up to episode 185, and...
Well, it's only 20 weeks then. 20 weeks is less than half a year ago, so it must have been like sort of early summer.
Yeah, roughly. And what a reception we have for Acolyte, and that's still... I feel like it's still going down really well, isn't it?
Yeah, still getting the reception. It's so funny because the finale episode of The Acolyte, when I did the episode for my show, by far the most interacted episode that I've ever had in my entire show, both on YouTube and TikTok. The amount of views I've had, the amount of comments, both mostly bad, but obviously mixed. It's so divisive amongst the fans. It was hilarious that's the episode out of everything that I've done that has the most interaction.
That's the one. That's the one that really kicks it into overdrive, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Acolyte is very still decisive to this day. Like I know they did cancel it. I know, hey, it's not coming back. But you know, it's Star Wars to a T.
Yeah, just one of those things, unfortunately. I know that Manny Jacinto, that played Khmer, the stranger, in the series, came out, I think it was this week, and said, I can't say too much in case the show comes back, but there was plans for a lot more Darth Plagueis in season 2 and stuff. And I'm like, you can't come out and say shit like that now, because that's just unfair. We're not going to get that. And to then come out and say, well, the character you all wanted, you were going to get more of it, but you can't now because you ruined it all. So I was like, oh, cool. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, thanks. And that's mentioned. I would do the exact same thing. It was like, well, we got canceled. We were going to have Darth Plagueis. You were going to have General Grievous was going to come back somehow.
Palpatine was going to be there.
Palpatine. There was going to be a Anakin for some bloody reason out of nowhere. Like there was just going to be, it was going to be off the rails. But no, you'll never find out because you're all bloody critics. Yeah. But I did see on TikTok the other day that did make me think, like, yes, all the bad shit about Star Wars Acolyte, it has given us one of the best lightsaber battles that we've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, that's fair. Obviously, the infamous episode 4 lightsaber fights. I mean, they were tremendous. Seeing a lot of Jedi killed off, even seeing poor Yord get his neck snapped and then tossed aside was amazing. And obviously, one of the best helmets, I think, in recent Star Wars times as well. I've got the Black Series helmet on pre-order, and that doesn't come out until July next year, actually. So I've still got a long time to wait for it. But
oh shit!
Oh, there was a big debacle about this, to be fair, mate, because they announced, I think it was after episode 4 or 5, they announced Black Series are doing the Stranger helmet. That's going to come out immediately, and it said release date was going to be like in 2 weeks after that announcement. So I was straight on it, ordered it, absolutely amazing. I was like, sweet, here we go. About 3 days later, I get an email from Hasbro going, we made a mistake with the release date, and it's actually going to be like 19th of July 2025, not 2024. So you've actually got a year to wait. And I was fuming, cancelled my order, and then sat about and think about it going, I would still want it when it comes out. So I did go back and pre-order it again. So I will get it next year. But yeah, the fact that they released it and went, yeah, cool, it's going to be 2 weeks' time. And then went, actually, we were wrong. It's going to be a year.
Jeez. Sorry, I meant it's 2024. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant 2025. You guys didn't read that properly.
Let's just wait a year until no one actually gives a shit about it anymore and then release it. So, you know.
When no one gives a shit.
I don't know what their marketing strategy is for some of this stuff, because waiting a year to release the helmet is madness. Like, Christmas time would have been fine. The helmet we're getting at Christmas is Moff Gideon's dark armor helmet from The Mandalorian season 3, which ended like fucking last year sometime. So they're taking their time with these things.
Yeah. Well, I would understand if it got released at like, is it May? Was it May Star Wars Celebration?
Well, I mean, there wasn't Star Wars Celebration this year, but next year there is obviously one. So even if it was released then, yeah, it would have been timing wise, yeah.
Yeah, Ralph. It'd make sense if it was there, but just the fact it's just 1 year after and like out of nowhere, like, hey, here's a Christmas in July present, boys. There you go. You'll be fine with this. But, sir, we need to talk about the most important thing here. You and your new logo.
So, yeah, obviously I had a hiatus for about 3.5 months after the birth of my baby. Took a lot, thank you very much. Took a lot longer to come back than I was planning, simply because having a newborn and looking after the wife and stuff, as they needed to and deserved to be looked after. It took a lot of my time and energy and focus. So it took a lot longer hiatus than planned. But in the run up to coming back, that needs some applause, to be fair. Yeah, so on the run up to coming back, I was like, I want to come back with the right energy, with the right feel, but I want to have everything feeling fresh and new, because I have had 2 podcast logos in the 1.5 years since I started podcasts. But I was like, you know what? I just want something fresh and different and something a bit nerdier. So went away with a bit of help from yourself as well, to be fair on this one. I think it's fair to say that you had some input and some creative input
I'll take that.
along the way as well. But we ended up with a new logo, new banners, new overlays, new intro, outro videos, the whole shebang to give it a brand new feel.
And it looks fantastic, mate. And you know what? That's a logo that deserves to go on a shirt.
Well, I am very slowly working on a little bit of merch. I don't have a mass amount of followers, to be fair, but I am going to be working on some merch. But speaking of merch, actually, I just need to do a quick little outfit update here. Just give me 1 second.
Oh, okay. I really have had a tick. Hey! After so long. For anyone who's just listening in, this man has got one of the Lights, Camera, Rant caps that apparently had to be played by gold before you got it.
So I think it took them, what was it, like just short of 8 weeks to get the hat to me. Way, Davo. So that's good old Dave from Why So Sidious.
Oh, hey, man.
Thank you, Dave. Lovely to see. But yes, I ordered. I had two bits of merch. So it was the hoodie, the lovely white hoodie, which I have to say is not just it looks nice. It's comfortable. It's actually a really nice hoodie to wear. I actually love wearing this hoodie. To be fair, I wear it all the time.
Not even pun intended with the fact it's my own merch, but I have literally worn that jumper out already because it was just so comfy to put on. Not to mention we're going to summer, so I'm not going to wear it much anymore. But I've just been wearing that everywhere.
But yeah, it is a lovely hoodie. It's nice and comfortable, and it looks beautiful as well. That took 10 days to arrive from when we ordered to getting to here. For some reason, the snapback that you put on there initially just for me as well, because I was like, I don't wear normal hats or hats like the one you're wearing. I only wear snapbacks. So I need a snapback, and you put it on there for me.
Yeah.
I ordered it, and then it took 7.5 weeks to show up. And they were like, "We're sorry, it's just taking a bit of time to get it made." And I was like, "Are you like skinning animals alive to like get the thread?" What is going on here?
Well, look. Yes, it did take a long time, but they did send you a nice message to. Was it they voided your
The shipping
they
cost.
shipping? Yeah.
Yeah, they refunded the shipping cost, to be fair to them, and it did take a while. But that's not your fault. For anyone that wants to order any merch,
Ah,
Lee had no hand in delaying it. He wasn't doing it just for a bit of fun and games with me. But
no.
hoodies and stuff arrived really quickly. This arrived a bit later, but it was definitely worth it. First time I've worn it actually. I hung it up
Oh,
on my hat wall when it arrived, and then I've just been waiting for today to crack it open.
oh, God, it looks good, man. I like it. It's looking fresh.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's nice. It's nice. It's comfortable
but
as well.
as soon as you open your merch store, man, I'll be the first one to buy your merch. Actually, yeah, the last piece of merch I bought was Why So Serious.
Well, yeah, I've got one of their hoodies as well. To be fair, I've started a little
Mm.
collection of you guys because I've got you. I've got some Why So Serious. I've got some Clan Mandalorian. I am wearing my own T-shirt right now. To be fair, but this has got like the outdated very first logo that I ever did. So
Hey, that's vintage now.
it is vintage.
That's I know.
Old
Or
school one.
no, no, Mark One, or I know
Yeah,
Series One, if you will.
Mark One. We'll call it that.
Yeah, exactly right. So that's gonna be worth something one day. So hold on to that.
Maybe, yeah. The wife keeps nagging me that she wants some podcast merch of my own, so I need to get on that. But there are plans to do it. I don't have a huge following list to be able to that's worth doing it for, but it is slowly going to make its way out there.
Yeah, do it, man. Like, do it. Like, I think I've got about 5 shirts. I've got 2 hats. I've got a jacket that says Mr. Rant, and I got a jumper. I got shorts. I've got a gym top. I'm just waiting for the cock piece to arrive, and I'll be it's just like LCR with the QR code.
Nice.
Yep. But yeah, once you buy one, you keep buying.
Absolutely. Got to cut the set.
I collect them all. But no, props to your new logo, man. That looks really good. And, on your streams, it looks good. So absolute props. Because, it's a big thing to change your logo because you almost forget how many things you've got attached to that. Like how many accounts you've got attached to that. Everything you've got to go across. And then making sure it all goes across at the same time. And everything updates. So, but if it does help, I Googled the Galactic podcast, and this came up straight away.
Nice. Yeah, I was pretty fastidious in making sure I changed everything over to this logo, so nothing was left behind on my old one.
Oh, it's good to know. But look, let's get into a little bit of news before we get into the brand new Skeleton Crew. One thing which I could not believe was the fact that the brand new Indiana Jones game in the Great Circle is currently being reviewed out of this world of just how good this game is. 5.5, 4.5, a bloody 9 on IGN.
Incredible, to be fair.
Well, it is because the thing is because this is. I said in when this game first got announced, I did say I'm like, this is the type of game. It's only going to go one of 2 ways. It's either going to be really good or it's going to be really shit. There's going to be no middle ground on it because the fact it's taking it's going into the Indiana Jones franchise. It's also picking up. I'm pretty sure someone's going to correct me. I'm pretty sure it's between 1 and 3.
Yeah.
Roughly about right. So it's still before 3. It's still after 1. So, and we do know number 2 is a prequel. So I think it's between 1 and 3. So it's we're going to go either way, but it looks fantastic. It looks great, and so far all the reviews have been fantastic. And I'm going to be one of those people that's like, I'm just going to wait until it comes on PlayStation because I don't have a PC that's powerful enough to play it, and I don't have an Xbox One.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's not one I'm going to rush to play, but I might give it a go sometime in the near future. Although my other half is a massive Indiana Jones fan, and she was looking at the system requirements, I think earlier today, actually, and she just looked at me and went, even your PC is not powerful enough to play this. You would have to be on mine, or you need to upgrade. So I'm like, Jesus, how much does this game need to play it?
Yeah, it's It requires a little bit of juice. This one, it's a 130 megabyte to download. I was like, oh, okay.
130 gigabytes, sorry.
Sorry, gigabyte. What did I say?
Give me megabyte. I was like, that's a tiny
sorry.
thing.
Yeah, sorry, gigabyte.
Yeah, that is huge, to be fair. That is absolutely massive. I think I've only ever seen something similar to that, which was Arc Ascended or something like that. Required something like about something similar to install the game. And I was like, no, I'm not using up my hard drive for that.
That's a no from me. I'm not doing that. The thing is, anything this big, it's either COD or it's Red Dead.
Fair. Yeah, fair. I just keep Star Wars games on my hard drive, to be fair. And Football Manager. Anyone that plays Football Manager.
Of course, you got that. For some reason, that does not surprise me that you've got Football Manager.
Yeah,
well, on there.
Soccer fan.
Yeah, of course. Well, sorry, soccer.
Well, no, it's football for me, isn't it? It's soccer for everyone else.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everyone else is incorrect. It's fine.
You're all wrong. Just letting you know. Is it open world? It's semi. It's not open world, but you do have depending on the mission, you do have the free reign to try and get through the mission on how you want to do it. But it's not open world, say like Star Wars Outlaws. But it does give you the full freedom that you could either kill a guy with a shovel, use a whip, your fists, a gun, or pretty much anything around the environment you can pick up to go fight anybody with it. The whip action looks pretty fun though. You can trip people up or cause things to collapse on people, and looks pretty decent. But just such a big update. But yeah, that's out. That's out now. And for PlayStation fans, which is coming out March next year, and I will be one of those people grabbing the game straight up. And speaking of also something that's coming out, well, not coming out next year, but it's it's going to be interesting to say the least. If this is Scrubs. Scrubs is currently in its revival stage and is going to be revived. Bill Lawrence is back on board, and currently now they're hunting down the cast to see who wants to come back.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? I'm a big Scrubs fan. I'm actually halfway through watching original Scrubs at the moment. It's just sort of a rewatch, like to have just a show you can throw on in the background, and this is the current run through that I'm doing. But yeah, it's one of those things, and any show that's brought back after a long time away, and you kind of want it to be done, but you don't want it to be done because you don't want to ruin the legacy of the original, but you're hoping it's good. I was reading an article today saying that guaranteed to come back is JD, Turk, Elliot, Dr. Cox, maybe Carla as well, and then it's going to have new casts. So it's kind of like they described it as half revival, half reboot.
Yeah.
So going to be interesting, but original cast I think is going to obviously be a good thing.
Yeah, of course. So it's almost not a revival, but pretty much a legacy season, which we've been seeing so many shows do that now. Pretty much a revival or go back to the original, and hopefully for them is that I just hope the fact that this new revival season kind of makes up for the last season of Scrubs that nobody liked.
Yeah, that was a bit random because they had the perfect ending to it in a way, didn't they? Season 8.
Yeah.
And then they brought it back for this weird 9th season that got split into 2 and then still sort of ended after 13 episodes or something and was just, yeah, it wasn't really all there, was it? So they didn't really need to do that. But
Scrubs is one of those shows where it's you went for 2 seasons too long, or you went for 1 season for too long, and that's the lasting thing people have in their memory.
Yeah.
But Scrubs fans, it's coming up, so keep in mind for that. This show is coming back as it's early 2000. Scrubs is early 2000.
Yeah, it was
first one come out.
Yeah.
Also, a game that's kept making a lot of waves right now because it came out this past Friday is Marvel Rivals, which has a stacked character listing already. The visuals for this game on both the animation and the character designs I really like. But the fact that this game has blown up really big, to be honest. And yes, I did play it last night, and yes, I did get my ass handed to me, no different to normal. But I just saw today, right before we went live, another new character that's going to be entering the void is Canal.
Nice.
So I'm like, okay, I'm interested. I think probably the one negative thing, I don't know if you've seen this, is that people have been a bit vocal about how Wolverine looks. Have you seen this?
I haven't seen it, to be fair. No.
It's because Wolverine, he's got like a jacket on. Like, he just doesn't look right. Like, he looked very casual on what he's wearing compared to everybody else. But one of the things that I think they did fantastic, which is I think they took too long to do in the Avengers game initially, is that you can buy Marvel Studios.
Sorry, I've just Googled how he looks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
See, told you.
Oh, that is hilarious. He's like beefcake on the top half, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It just doesn't look right. But
Okay,
every other character looks like really good except him. But as I was getting to, is that what they've done straight away, which is a great move, is that you can buy the Marvel Studios pack. So pretty much all the characters have their Marvel Studios look, and the Wolverine one is the Wolverine suit from Deadpool Wolverine.
Nice.
Which looks really good.
Yeah, got to get that plug in for there, haven't they? So
that's right. How about that money? Gotta get that money. But yeah, like, they all look really good. It was just Wolverine. I was just like, what do they do to you, my poor boy? My poor boy.
Oh dear. Yeah, that was hilarious. Just look at that.
Yeah.
Does remind me of some of the terrible comic book adaptations and drawings, illustrations, that have done of him over the years. So that was a bit random.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a clip of that from this episode now. Have you seen this? Oh,
yeah, it's funny.
But Marvel Rivals is out right now, so definitely go check it out and let us know what you think about playing the game. Do you like it, or this is just a fad for a week? No. It doesn't have a long time. Even the maps are really cool in the whole game. Now, also, Wednesday fans, I know you've been clamoring for Wednesday. Wednesday Season 2 has officially wrapped up filming. We've also got the latest photo of Jenna Ortega playing Wednesday right now on the screen on this episode, which means the fact if it has just wrapped up filming, we're probably not going to see it until mid-next year. We got mid-next year. Look up Wolverine by Huda. It's rough. Okay. All right. Let's check this out.
Yeah, let's have a quick Google of this, shall we?
Wolverine. But I feel like you need a ticker going on in the background to see this.
Yeah, okay. That's probably what I was thinking of too.
Yeah, the no-neck Wolverine.
Yeah, that's probably what I was thinking of when I saw him, to be fair.
Yeah, but is it as bad as the Marvel Rivals one though?
Yeah, I don't think it is as bad, to be fair.
Oh, rough. But yeah, sorry. Yeah, so Wednesday's wrapped up filming. We probably won't see Wednesday come out until early next year. Surely it won't need much touch up or post production. Surely.
Who knows?
Sure.
I mean, films take a year and a half. They say at best. TV series gets a lot quicker, I suppose.
I know. We'll look at I just can't believe the Mandalorian and Grogu movies finished filming, and that's not coming out until 2026.
I know. Yeah. I mean, they keep saying that they've only just stopped doing, or they're doing reshoots for like Thunderbolts and stuff like that. That's coming out in like 5 months' time, and it's just like, okay, you better get that done sharpish. And then you've wrapped, or maybe it's just they just because they know it's Star Wars, and that could possibly be more toxic than anything else that they could do. That they want to have like a year and a half to go. Let's just make this fucking perfect.
well, look, I think that's fair because this is the first major Star Wars movie on the big screen since the god awful Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. So, yeah. So it would have been nearly 7 years. First file was
Oh,
because 2019, wasn't it? December
yeah,
2019 is when it came out. Rise
yeah,
of
shit.
Skywalker. So if we're looking at like July or May, whenever it is, 2026.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah, that's how long it's been. So yeah, if they want to get right, that's fully understandable. Which, speaking of something that I feel like is going to be very divisive when it's going to come out, but they have announced that Harry Potter and the HBO Max TV show will be going into production summer next year. Over 32,000 kids applied to be on the show, but it's going into production next year. Which I feel like this is going to be very divisive when it does drop, or when the first photo may come out,
It's going to be interesting.
because there's a lot of loyal Harry Potter fans.
I mean, did you know that I did apply to the show to be Hagrid, but they said that I wasn't old enough, fat enough, or had a big enough beard. So
Ugh, how rude! How rude! It's funny you mentioned actually, Harry. I always think the fact that Hagrid was almost played by Robin Williams.
Jesus, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Robin Williams wanted to play Hagrid, but obviously J.J. Rowling was like, nah, British people only.
Fair.
Which, don't get me wrong, I forgot his name, Coltrane. He did a great job as Hagrid, but I'm like trying to imagine it as Robin Williams.
Yeah, I know, that would be so random, doing it.
Yeah, but he
A
would have
lot more
still.
eccentric.
Yeah, I feel like he still would have done a great job as well. But yeah, I always think that's weird. But no, it's a shame you lucked out for Hagrid. I lucked out on Snape because they didn't want an Aussie Snape.
I think that's fair enough.
I mean, like, potty ilk.
That's. I was going to start throwing out Australian cliches then, but I won't. It's fine.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I won't be offended. But yes, Harry Potter fans, that's going to go in production next year. So I'd say until that starts going, we could probably wait until we get our first photo of the cast, and then wait for the internet to attack those poor kids.
Well, there's been the rumor for Snape this week, isn't there?
Yes,
for who they offered Snape, so that'll be interesting reaction, won't it?
Yeah. Who's going to be Snape, and the fact that these kids are going to be they're going to be like this forever. But look, that's the biggest. That's the biggest news that's happened the past week. Now let's get into Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew that was first announced in May 2022. It finished filming in January 2023, and the premise is 4 kids are trying to get back home after getting lost in the galaxy after they find something on their planet. Now, Andy, first 2 episodes, what was your initial reaction?
So the build up to the show was so weird because there was like next to no marketing for so long for the show. They kept saying it was coming. There were obviously always rumors. Cheers, Dave. I'll see you in a bit, man. So lots of rumors about what was the show going to be about, the premise, and just we got nothing until the trailers that will come out in the last month or so. And even still then, it's like 4 kids sort of lost in the galaxy trying to make their way home was pretty much all we've been fed. So you go into this show with just the trailers to go on, nothing else really. And it was always a bit weird because you had sort of suburbanized Star Wars, which we've never had before.
No.
Which we saw in the trailer, and everyone obviously talking about the fact that it has like the 80s kids movies type vibe, like the Goonies, things like that, that we're all quite familiar with. So it was always going to be hit or miss because kids shows tend to be either amazing or pretty damn mediocre and crap. So you go into this, but it's Star Wars, so I'm going to be excited either way. Episode 1, quite slow. Obviously, they're story building. They're trying to let you get to know the characters a bit. Episode 2 definitely picked up and was a lot better for me. Overall, I'm definitely intrigued. I want to see where the story goes. There's some good mysteries in there already. The fact that we're 2 episodes in already, though, and obviously 7 more to go, it always feels like there's a lot of ground to cover in that time. And the fact that this has got a tie-in as well to the rest of the Mandoverse story, so the Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Boba Fett, leading up to the Thrawn movie in a couple of years' time.
Mm.
So it feels like with 7 episodes to go, there's a lot to cover already. But I think it was a decent enough start to keep intrigued. It wasn't terrible by any means. It definitely could have maybe been a bit more exciting. It both does and doesn't feel like Star Wars to me at the same time, because episode 1 didn't feel like Star Wars, episode 2 did. So it's going to be interesting to see where it goes, that's for sure. I'm definitely on board to see where we go.
I couldn't agree more, man. It's interesting because you're right. Like, pretty much the marketing for this has been very minimal all the way until they're like, hey, it's coming out this date. Hey, there's 2 episodes premiere. Here's a trailer.
Yeah.
And pretty much, hey, there's 4 kids and a Jedi. And it's basically, kids in space. Lost in space, really. I agree with you. Seeing Suburbia Star Wars not on Coruscant, if you will, just seeing, just on the outside, far away in the galaxy, that this is how some worlds do actually live post the fall of the Empire. It's interesting because, like, you're right. The first episode's a bit slow, which every episode's a little bit slow because it's obviously goes, here's Bob. This is what Bob does. Here's what David does. This is what David does. This is where we are. This is what we're doing. And right at the end of the episode, it's like, and here's the little plot to move forward. Moving forward. And I just soaked it in. I really didn't. And it's funny because I didn't, when you have this like big expectation because it's being Star Wars and everything, I didn't really have that because it feels like slightly separated from Star Wars, but it's not at the same time. And I'm loving the fact that this is just all about kids. And I'm loving the pirate references. I'm liking the fact that this is literally like Treasure Island in Star Wars.
And there were a lot of Easter eggs in these 2 episodes as well. Even I had to look some of them up because they were that obscure, to be fair. But when you look at them, there's so many references to make it feel like Star Wars, and putting in things from sources like the holiday special or the Attack on Ewoks special that very few people have probably seen and was absolutely terrible, all the way through to some Legends material and even stuff from the High Republic, and they all helped feed into this story. And some of the species on show that we've seen previously in things like A New Hope in the Cantina, all the way through to, like I said, some of the things like the holiday special or the Attack on Ewoks and things like that. It's great to see them pull from those different sources to make it feel like Star Wars. But in all honesty, you have to be pretty geeked up on Star Wars to recognize some of them. But at the end of the day, it's like, there was only one real bit of Star Wars this really though for me, and that's when you get introduced to Jude Law's character Jod at the end, and you hear that sort of little bit of traditional Star Wars Force music that plays. Apart from that, you could have said that this was a sci-fi. If you took out any mentions of Jedi and Sith, which the kids do obviously talk about quite a bit, and then took out that bit, this could have just been any sort of sci-fi show, really.
That's it. You could take it straight out. And it could have been anything really, but it's funny because, like, for example, like Wim. I'm like, oh, of course your name's Wim. Any relations like Jim from Treasure Island,
or how about the pirate droid SM-33 or Smee?
Yeah, or Smee, or the new pirate captain. I'm like, that's a black beard, on you, isn't it?
Yeah. So yes, lots of old school pirate references, but they do set up a good mystery on this.
Yes,
which is all about the planet that the kids are from.
Yeah.
So the planet's called Atin, and obviously when they're chatting to the pirates or when they're at that pirate base, and people keep asking where they're from, and they keep saying it, and they're like, it's a lost treasure or elusive treasure or something like that. I can't remember the exact word that they use, like, but basically like a lost world almost, a lost treasure world. and the fact that when they use the credits to pay, the pirates get all excited because they're mint Old Republic credits. When we say Old Republic, we're not referring to like the Legends Old Republic from like 3,000 years before. Obviously, the Galactic Republic is what is in this timeline now referred to as the Old Republic. So we're talking about that era, but not just that era. But we're talking about High Republic era. Really. So I think this planet has been sheltered for hundreds of years from the rest of the galaxy. It's probably in a little corner of the galaxy that has mainly been ignored. But they're dropping lots of hints that this planet has been basically cut off from the rest of the team to know nothing about the fall of the Galactic Republic, the Empire coming up, and then the New Republic taking over as well. When the woman came to the school and talked about, obviously they had to do the test the next day for their careers and stuff, she talked about the Great Works, which is a reference to the High Republic era. So this is why I think basically this planet's been shut off for at least 300 to 500 years. There's a conspiracy going on for like the leaders of the planet that have kept them completely disconnected. Like these kids, when they went in that ship into space, didn't even seem to know there were stars up there or this many stars.
Well, that's actually one of my notes here is because they say it's like, wow, there's so many stars, and like, oh, it's just past the barrier, and I didn't even think, we're like, can you guys not see past? Can you guys not see into space properly?
I don't think they can. I think this barrier maybe keeps people out or keeps them in either way, or they're meant to believe it keeps them in, and so they don't tend to go up against it. But they also fly straight through it. So I think they're part of what this mystery is going to be is what the conspiracy is about this planet and why it's been shut off for so long.
That's it, yeah. And why is it not on? It's not in the ancient Jedi archives. You know, that's really weird. Why it's not in there either?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, in the case of dropping more Easter egg names, but when the kids are talking to the pirate droid on the ship, and they're like, "What planet are you from?" They're like, "Aten," and he's like, "It doesn't exist." You know, I've got Atalon, which is a reference from Star Wars Rebels, a planet that they used in season 3 and part of season 4 as their base, which apparently was off the maps. And then that's another planet that they name dropped that was used in Andor as well, the planet where they did the heists. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, like Ardashi or something.
Yeah.
It's bugging me now, so I'm going to have to Google it.
That's all right. Yeah, I do love the drive, like Captain, like just the fact that big pirate-esque about the droid. And
Aldani, sorry, that was the one.
Aldani, yes. But how did they find the planet? That's another question. Is like, how did he find the planet?
Well, this is again. I mean, I think it's fairly obvious to say that the opening scene when it shows the pirates boarding this Republic cruiser to find credits, and there's none on board, and you've got the captain that's in a mask, and they basically mutiny against them at the end. It's going to be fairly obvious that this was Jod.
You can tell.
But I think the ship that was on Aten that the kids take is connected to Jod somehow. I think that he's maybe previously been to that planet and he somehow crashed there but managed to escape a different way. Because why else would there be a pirate ship on there? I think there's question marks over whether he is a Jedi or not. Maybe he used to be, because it's never been officially confirmed that he actually is a Jedi right now. The only bit of info we got on him is that he is a survivor of Order 66. That's the only information we actually got on him. And if maybe the time frame and if my maths is correct, he would have been a teenager at absolute most, maybe in his early 20s during the fall of the Republic and Order 66. So he may have been a Padawan or a very young Jedi Knight at the time. Considering Kenobi was still an apprentice at 25. So he may have been a Padawan or an apprentice at the fall of the Jedi Order, and maybe he's gone off on his own way and done what a lot of them had to do, and basically turned away or kept his Force sensitivity secret, and he became a pirate to get by. And because of his natural skills as a Jedi and maybe as a leader, he got in charge of this group and stuff and like that. But so I think there's two big mysteries here about the planet and about Jod's background.
I agree, because I'm just looking at it right now, and I thought they did say that he was a Jedi, but you're right. It just says mysterious, untrustworthy Jedi, or he's not a Jedi.
So I'm not sure obviously we'll find out what his story is. Obviously, that's what I want the next episode to be: is start filling in a bit more of his background.
Well, there's 6 episodes left, by the way, too.
So is there? I thought there was 7.
No, because it's only 8 episode season.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so 6 episodes left.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because remember the fact that Star Wars only does things in 8s, except if you were doing Andor for some bloody reason.
oh. Great, yeah, okay, so 6 episodes left to go. I don't know why I was thinking 7. But yeah, so even less time for them to get this story straight and get it interconnected to the world.
That's it. And it's not, you're right. The second episode had a lot more action. Like, I felt so sorry for Shmi. I was going to say Shmi, the droid. Like, he just kicked everybody's ass and he's like, let's go. Oh, wait, you're not a pirate? Boom.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope he does come back, and that's just not the end of him being shot then at that thing, because he seemed quite cool.
Yeah.
Like, don't you dare harm my captain. It's just a little gun. We're not pirates, we're children. So
I just like how he's like, why do you take us to a pirate station? Like, because we're pirates. Like, what?
We're not pirates, we're children.
Yeah.
For God's sake, man.
God. But it says, I think the adventures set up, of course, as always, CGI, the costumes, everything looks schmick. Judging just from these 2 episodes, depending how the next 6 goes, I don't know if this is going to be probably one of the high up shows that Star Wars fans might always go back to all the time. It might be just something to place in the category unless something major happens. I think it just might be something that we just put in the catalog. This is something you can go back to. So I'm glad it's part of the Mandoverse, and don't get me wrong, I'm glad the fact we're getting something that's just, I don't know, just adventure, space adventure again.
I get torn on where I want things to be in terms of the standard. Whether you want them to go hell for leather and try and make every TV series they do the absolute best that it can be of Star Wars, or whether it's worth having something that's almost like filler in a way. Because at the end of the day, like, when it comes, I think I'm a bit more harsh on Star Wars because of how more seriously I take it than maybe something like Marvel or DC.
Which
I say how serious I take it. I mean, because how big of a fan I am of it compared to everything else. In the fact that I want everything to be peak as possible, and I don't want filler stuff. That's why I get annoyed in series when it's a limited episode series, and then you end up with 3/4 of it being filler in a way, and only 3 or 4 pivotal episodes.
I know. It's like, really? Like, we don't need this gap.
Yeah. So with this show, I'm like, it doesn't feel like it's going to be an amazing up there, like worthy of, like, say, Mandalorian season 2 or parts of Ahsoka and stuff, like, or like Andor season 1, or the second half of Andor season 1, I should say. It doesn't feel like it's going to reach that peak level. We could be surprised. We don't know until we've seen it, obviously, as he said. At the same time, it doesn't feel like it's going to be peak Star Wars. It's not going to fit in there. It's just something a bit fun, a little bit different. There's something to lighten the palette before the heavier stuff to come, which is going to be things like Andor season 2, Ahsoka season 2, building up to this culmination of the Mandoverse storyline with the Thrawn film. How they fit into that, I was discussing this with Clan Mandalorian on our episode that we did together earlier this week, in the fact that, is it the kids that are going to be part of the interaction that crosses over to the Mandoverse? Is it, I bet money on maybe just Jod, and the fact that he's maybe not been a Jedi for some time, and if he was a Jedi, that this journey with the kids brings him back to that path. And he's the one that then crosses over to the Mandoverse story, and he joins forces with them to go up against Thrawn.
Well, we've got one character from the Mandoverse who's appeared.
Yeah, but he's a bit character. He appeared in like 2 episodes, and he's not exactly like the most important character. I wouldn't be surprised if he died by the end of the series.
Well, I'm surprised he was he in season 1 of Mando?
No,
Or
season 3. He was in 2 episodes of season 3 with
the
Gorian
pirate?
Shard, the Pirate King, Swamp Thing.
Yeah, yeah. I know, I know. I remember that too. That was the first thing I was like, "Oh, good, Swamp Thing's in Star Wars."
But
Yeah,
yeah, where this series obviously we always have to wait and see, but I think it's got a lot to do to be one of the most well-rounded stories, and yet I think it's just going to be fun. I don't think it's going to be like overly serious in terms of the seriousness that we're getting from all other Star Wars areas. I think it's going to be a bit more lighthearted, a bit more like entertaining. You can just sit there, you can rewatch it if you want. If you don't, you're not going to miss out on too much. But I'm a little bit worried about the interconnectivity to the bigger
yeah.
Mandoverse story.
Yeah, well, that's true. How much will they actually connect? And
Mm.
I think it's good in the sense, like, I think even if this doesn't do massively connecting to the Mandoverse, I think this will be that good niche type of show that, like, this is this is just an adventure show. It's meant to capture Star Wars again without without the all the ending doom of Jedi and Sith. That this is get up, space is to be adventured. The galaxy is far, far away, and it is vast.
Mm.
And then you got these 4 kids they've never seen past their planet, and this is the closest thing that we're going to get to a Treasure Planet movie.
Yeah, that's true. But I'd love to see some cameos later in the series to sort of connect it to the wider way as well, not just to sort of like bring them into the Mandoverse story, but maybe at some point they get rescued by some Mandalorians, like what would you see, like Cosca Reeves or Axe Woves or something like that. It don't necessarily has to be like obviously Din Djarin or Bo-Katan that saves them, or even a Hondo cameo would be fine by me. Obviously, you may not be familiar with Hondo because you haven't watched Clone Wars, but it's okay. We can't all be there, Lee. It's all right. Sorry, like it had to be done.
I'm sorry. Have you watched Creature Commandos yet?
I would do if it was in the fucking UK to watch. it's released everywhere else, not in the UK yet. So,
I hear that's just excuses, mate. Yeah.
Oh yeah, let me pirate it. I'll be an actual pirate, shall I?
Well, here we are. We're talking about pirates, mate.
This isn't the days of the dark web and logging onto all those sites to download stuff anymore.
Pirate Bay and everything.
Yeah.
Well, what about a cameo of you're gonna probably shoot me, I forgot his name. It's the Republic starfighter that's pretty much been popping around Mando the whole time. He catches up with him a couple of times. He's got the white beard.
Okay. Yeah. Oh fuck me. Sorry, my language has gone now.
Right. I don't want to
barrier. I've broken the barrier on language. Sorry. Oh my
right.
god. Carson Wolf.
Carson. Yeah.
So Captain Carson Tabor.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I could see him popping up.
Fair play. Yeah. I mean, he's been popping up in everything. So.
Pretty much, he's just been basically the Wong of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah,
that's bad. I mean, that's not what I meant, but
oh yeah, no, yeah, I know what you mean. He's been popping up a little bit everywhere, isn't he? He's the real interconnected hero of the story.
Exactly right. He's the one who's doing all this, and if he's not in the Mando Grogu movie, I'll be disappointed.
Oh, he's definitely got to be.
Yeah.
I have a feeling he might get killed off, but I think he's going to be in it still.
I think so. Probably. Is the Mando Grogu movie the Thrawn movie?
No, they're separate ones.
Okay, so it's going to be a sequel to that.
Yeah, well, so essentially the Mandalorian Grogu film is essentially a replacement for season 4 because they're not going to do a season 4. So this is a film they came up with to do instead. I got a feeling that's going to start bringing all the heroes together. But the Thrawn film is a separate one to that because basically we're still going to get Ahsoka season 2 after the Mandalorian Grogu film. Whatever happens with Skeleton Crew, I don't really see there being a season 2 of Skeleton Crew. I think this is going to be a one and done. Obviously, we know we're not getting Book of Boba Fett season 2.
Oh, why? I feel that's jibbed. It's jibbed.
We should, but we're not. Regardless of how anyone felt about it, I think we should have had a season 2. But yeah, so we're going from Mandalorian Grogu to Ahsoka season 2, and then that will lead into the Thrawn film. So
Maybe that will get announced next Star Wars Celebration.
Well, the release date, hopefully, because I know obviously all the previous release dates that they sort of stated have all been sort of thrown out. So I imagine we're not going to get it. I think we'll be lucky to get it by 2029, if I'm honest.
Oh
Because
my
if you think
god!
that Mandalorian Grogu won't be until 2026, which means
Yep.
that probably Ahsoka season 2 won't be till either
2020.
later on. Well, I was going to say 2027.
Yeah, 2027.
Because that starts filming in like January or February, I think. Ahsoka season 2, so probably maybe late 2026 at earliest, but I would foresee maybe 2027. So maybe 2026 is when that film starts being done, and then 2028, maybe 2029 at latest. So I still think it's going to be a good 4 or 5 years before we see that film culminating the storyline.
And it will still come out before Rey's Jedi movie.
It'll still come out before GTA 6. It's fine.
Oh God, I better bloody not. Better bloody not. I tell you what, that better come out beforehand. But yeah, like it just seems like really right now the only thing that's really set in stone is the Mando Grogu movie.
Yeah, it's been unfortunate because obviously the singular Rey film about a new Jedi Order lost its writer again, so they obviously had to go back to that. All these new rumors about either a new trilogy of films set in the post Episode 9 era that won't necessarily be connected, but would have each story would impact the next one, and characters going in and out of each film, and Rey taking on the mantle of Obi-Wan Kenobi, so to speak, in these films. Or the rumors that they were actually thinking about doing Skywalker Saga episodes 10, 11, and 12, and continuing that story on, which is, to me, impossible to do. You can't do that because there's no... I'm not going to get into the argument about whether Rey is a Skywalker or not, and that's continuing the Skywalker saga.
Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have 3 hours, probably even longer, to cut into that.
But with no true Skywalker lineage left, I don't think you can really continue the Skywalker saga and that story. You'd leave it where it is. There's no way to bring Palpatine back now for a fourth trilogy, surely. He's just pure Force lightning now. There's no body. There's nothing.
Yeah, no, that's it. He's just pure Force lightning, and he's still pissed at Skywalkers.
Although someone pointed out to me the other day something that I've never thought about, that basically almost at the end of every single trilogy, Palpatine is getting hit by Force lightning. So Episode 3, he has the lightning deflected back onto him. At the end of Episode 6, he gets stunned by his own lightning when Vader picks him up. And at the end of Episode 9, he has his own lightning reflected back onto him again by Rey. So good job, Palpatine. He really used that to the advantage.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah,
I'm going to use my Force lightning. You mean our Force lightning?
I'm going to kill myself with my own lightning. It's fine.
Fine, I'll do it myself.
But yeah, it's just what they're doing with the future of Star Wars films is, like we said, by the time Mandalorian Grogu comes out, it'll be 6.5 years since the last Star Wars film. The only other film that's set in stone right now is the Dawn of the Jedi film that's supposedly set like 25,000 years in the past.
Yeah.
Obviously, still rumors of the Rogue Squadron film with Patty Jenkins, whether that's... They obviously said they were going to do it, did a whole trailer about it, then they got rid of it, and now rumors that it's coming back.
I think it's dead. It's dead.
With Carson Taver, sort of maybe, and his squadron playing that role. Obviously, the Rey movie. So apart from that, Star Wars movies are really up in the air. I know they've got obviously future series planned. What I'm hoping this Star Wars celebration, we're going to get a bit more of a solid. Because I can't remember who said this to me. I think it might have even been you or when we were texting about it. But I think someone's messaged me and said Star Wars need to stop announcing films and just fucking make them. Because they keep announcing them and say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then they just don't get around to making them. And then they just take them off the slate or they get redone or something like that. So
I know.
Just set something in stone for once and just give us what we need. Like, stop denying the Star Wars fans.
Well, that's the thing is like they have been announcing these. The only thing that's been coherent is Jon Favreau and the team with the Mandoverse. That's the only consistent thing that we've been getting. That when they've announced it, when it's happened, we've got it.
And even then, it's sort of like this has been. I've loved these shows. I genuinely have. I've not disliked any of them to like the level of, obviously, as we know, some Star Wars fans can get to. I've enjoyed each of those because you know me. I like to, as passionate as I am about Star Wars, and as much as we can have constructive criticism about Star Wars, I've always said I am here for the journey of Star Wars. I don't get to decide what canon is. I don't get to decide what the writing is. If I want to become rich and buy Lucasfilm, then I can decide what the fuck canon is. Until then, I'm a viewer who is here for the ride, and I have to accept what it is and just sit back and watch it and take joy out of the bits that are good. You don't have to like everything about it. It doesn't have to be it's not all going to be amazing, but just enjoy it. And I think I just get frustrated when they play around with us and don't have a coherent plan, because that is messing with the fans a bit that do love this franchise beyond everything else. I just did an episode last week on, is Star Wars still great or has it become overrated? Because what's going on here, and putting Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni in charge of Star Wars, it's been good for this particular time period, but they've done nothing outside of that. And if there is one criticism of Dave Filoni, it's that he is so in love with his own characters that he can't move beyond them, because he's just stuck around the likes of Bo-Katan and Ahsoka Tano, and people that he either helped create or has worked with his entire Star Wars career, and he can't move past that and do anything new. So when he has to do something new, you know, he did Rebels and brought Thrawn into it from Legends to canon. So he's basically only working with the things that he's worked with or created in the past. So what he can do for Star Wars beyond that is questionable. I'm excited to see what he can do beyond that, because he knows the material. He is someone who is passionate about Star Wars. So
he's the child successor, isn't he, for George Lucas?
But we need stuff beyond this. Either I just think it's time to leave everything around once we're done with the Mandoverse. Even though they're going to be doing the Rey films or whatever, I think we need to leave this particular stretch of 100 years alone. And we need to either go way into the future or way into the past, and just have something new now for Star Wars, because you can't keep digging through the wreckage of what's left of the Skywalker saga to pick out little time holes here and there where there's no story.
Because it's getting a bit crowd now. Like it's getting a bit. I would say, if anything, they just need to go way back. Go way back. Do the old Republic. Sorry, old Republic. Go far back. You know, you can. There's so much to play in that area, not to mention the peak era of Jedi, peak era of Sith. You know, there's just so much you can do with that space, and the gap between that and Episode 1 of Star Wars.
Yeah,
you got so much time.
You've got thousands of years. I mean, if they were literally to give us, say, as we said, an old Republic show, you know, so we're talking about the Revan, the Malgus, the Sith Empire, the Jedi Order. If you gave us, 5 seasons of like 12 episodes of this storyline, and making them a proper 45 minutes to an hour long episode each time, the reception that would get would be beyond anything that they could do. And why they haven't done this already, I don't know. Whether they plan, if they're not planning it, then they're fucking idiots, because this is the one thing Star Wars fans are calling out for now. It is one of the biggest, unfortunate, seems to be a byproduct of the Disney era for Star Wars now, which is, we got it in these first 2 episodes. This first episode was 48 minutes long. The second one was 30 minutes.
I know.
Eric, nice.
Hey, Eric, thanks for coming past.
So
you're right. Like, it's 40, 35.
So it's just this trope of the Disney era that they do it with Marvel shows as well, of just giving us the first episode and the last episode of about 40, 45 minutes, and everything else seems to be like 25 to 35, and it's just not good enough for the storytelling that it needs to do. And I hope this show doesn't fall into that pitfall, but I've got a feeling that from what I've seen, the online reports of the episode length for the next few episodes, it's still going to be about 30, 35 minutes.
Why? Just do the 45. Look at the Penguin. Penguin just did straight, I'm pretty sure it did like 50 or 45 every single week.
I mean, it's shows like that. I mean, I even watched it's just going completely off track, by the way, but I watched recently on Netflix like one of those romantic feel-good shows, but it was a Korean show. And this was 16, it was like a limited series. It was 16 episodes long, and like an hour and 15 to an hour and a half an episode. Like, but why can't Star Wars or Marvel do this? Why do they spend so much money on these shows, like, and then you're not getting the value for it anymore? So this is why I don't mind if the production value is not as good if you're giving us the length of episode to tell the correct story. The amount of times we heard from the likes of She-Hulk and the Acolyte that these are the highest spending shows in their franchise's history, and yet they had to cut stuff out because they didn't have the budget to do it, or they didn't have the time to tell the story. And it's like, who told you it had to be 30 minutes long?
Yeah.
Why can't it be longer?
Yeah. Why can't it be longer? Eric, I was able to get through the first 2 episodes, which is more than I can say about Acolyte. I mean, this is basically a kid's show, though. The Penguin was the HBO adults only. Yes, that's true. So, yeah, Eric, why didn't you get through Acolyte? Of all the Star Wars shows, this one makes sense kind of having shorter episodes. Well, I guess I guess perhaps because it is just kids in space and it is just but I'd still like that little bit more. Like, give me a 45-minute episode. Like, come on, like, just give me that.
You've just done it for the first episode. Why can't you do it for the rest?
Well, that's it. Also, watch out, Eric. Andy might be messaging you to have a solid rant about the Acolyte and why you couldn't get past the first 2 episodes. So, just fair warning.
Acting as if I'm some like paragon of light for championing the Acolyte or something.
It's not that bad. It's that bad.
It was all right.
Hey, could you describe it in one word? Oh, it was all right.
It's describe it in one word. I think it's the best word to use, isn't it?
Yeah, oh yes. Half done, half not done. But yeah, definitely Acolyte's like coming back. But look, it's all right. We're at the very beginning, and we always do ask this question when we do have Star Wars TV shows: is what particular thing would you want to see in the ending?
I mean, I think we kind of touched on that in the fact that was I a fan of the Acolyte? I was a fan of parts of the Acolyte. I think like everyone, the lightsaber battles and the bits where we finally got to see Khmer and the Stranger were the best bits of the show. The rest of it is debatable for sure.
What do you mean? The witches were great. The witches were just so cool. Such an
if only I had the power of one, the power of two. No, so yeah, I'm just saying that the bits that were good about the Acolyte need to be praised as being good. The rest is definitely up for debate. But it's just like I was the champion of The Last Jedi in terms of I want to celebrate the things that are good about The Last Jedi and not focus on what the fans didn't like or what the fans' expectations didn't live up to, because that's on themselves as a fan. I just want to enjoy the bits and talk about the good bits.
Which is fine. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Last Jedi, yes, there's a lot wrong with it, but I always say it has one of the coolest scenes when she makes the goes into hyperspace and just splits the Empire ship into 2, and that's such a crisp shot.
I mean, there were just quickly, because I always talk about this. To be fair, there were 2 moments in The Last Jedi that I actually screamed out at the screen and discussed that. At the beginning of the film, when Luke Skywalker throws Anakin's lightsaber over, I was like, "How dare you disrespect your father's lightsaber like that?" And then, obviously, later in the episode, they actually blow the fucking thing apart into 2 pieces, and I was fucking distraught. I was like, the disrespect shown to Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber here is unreal. So for all my defending of The Last Jedi, how dare you disrespect Anakin's lightsaber twice in one episode?
I know. Yeah, but don't worry, it was right back in the next one.
Oh yeah, they fixed it. I can put it together. It's now Rey's lightsaber. So.
And where'd she bury it in the sand?
Anakin's Force Ghost was going fucking mental in the background.
Yeah. Ahsoka is better than you.
But all right, back to your original question of what do I
Sorry.
see at the end of this? At the end of this
Yeah. What do
series.
you? Yeah.
So I think we mentioned we need to see the interconnectivity of how it fits into the Mandoverse. If they just leave it off and then they appear randomly in Ahsoka season 2 or the Mando Grogu film, that's not good enough. They need to see the interconnectivity. I need to see the full story of what's happened with the planet, which I think we're going to get. I think Wim's dad is going to be. This is a full Star Wars review. This is turned into, but no, I think the mystery of the planet of Atat and what's going on there. I think Wim's dad's going to play a big part in bringing that conspiracy crashing down and them
Do you think
getting
it
back.
might go really dark about that? Do you think it might go
A
really
little
dark?
bit, because there seems to be
That's
something
good.
going on there.
Like
the way that
Fallout, Fallout darkness.
maybe not as much as that, but there definitely seems to be something going on. I think the government's in on a conspiracy. The way that the droids all act is very sort of authoritarian, and they're very like, "What are you doing here?" Or even with the kids, they're like, "Sit down, do as you're told." Sort of like no one's allowed to step out of line. So I think there's definitely something going on there. We need the answer to that, and then obviously where I think we need a full background on Jod's story and where he fits in
On Rod's Jod.
Yeah, on where he ends up at the end of this. If any of these storylines are left open into so the interconnectivity to the Mandoverse, what's going on with the planet, and where Yod fits in with his story, and that coming to a satisfactory end. If those three things aren't done, then to me, I won't be best pleased.
Ooh, wow. I won't be best pleased on that.
I don't like open ends. Like if you guarantee there's going to be another season of something or anything like that, then it's fine to have an open-ended ending to a series. But if you know it's not going to carry on and you're just leaving fans to have to read a novel or a comic or something like that to fill in the gap, then it's not good enough. Unfortunately, you've not done your job as a storyteller.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's right. Like, for me, I would agree. Yes, on Jude Lord's character, want to know the background. Do want to know the more connectivity towards the end, being because John Favreau's really mentioned the fact that this is part of the Mandoverse. And I guess another thing is I just want it to be a swashbuckling tale, but I don't know, just keep up with the more adventure, the action, something like like the Goonies, Indiana Jones, just something that still had close quarters, ships, and I just hope the fact that it just keeps that going on, keeps that tone moving forward, and then it's just something that you'll look back on and go, hey, you know what, that was a really good show. Yes, it doesn't have Jedi and it doesn't have the Sith, doesn't have lightsabers battle, but that's just a good old Star Wars adventure story right there.
I think what's interesting is that I'm right now, after 2 episodes, I'm not bothered whether I would see these kids again after this show right now.
What's wrong with Wim?
I mean, everyone's falling over Neil, to be fair, little elephant dude, saying he's like the sweetheart, he needs to be protecting at all costs, this kind of thing. And that's fine, he is cute as hell, and he's like the innocent one in the group, to be fair. But it's just that thing of whether at the end of 8 episodes I would feel connected enough to the kid characters to be bothered about seeing them again in the future. I don't think I would be. I don't think how much they have to fit in to the future of Star Wars. I don't see that being a big part of their story. I think this is going to be a nice little fun action adventure that's a one-off series. And like I said, I think because of Jod's history of potential Jedi-ness, he's the one that connects them to the Mandoverse, and he's the one that I would be more bothered about seeing in the future. But even then, I said before, I'm not sold on Jude Law being a Jedi. So if he is a Jedi, I need convincing of that, to be fair.
Why? Because you look at him and think about Dumbledore.
No, I don't even think about it as Dumbledore, to be fair. Or even like, he was in Captain Marvel. Not that. It's just, I just don't see Jude Law as a Jedi type character.
The Elephant Kid is the goat for sure.
He's been cool so far. But yeah, I wasn't convinced before the start of this show that Jude Law could pull off a Jedi-like character. Other people have disagreed, saying they could see him being like a Qui-Gon Jinn type character if he was a serious Jedi. He doesn't obviously come across that way in the fact that he was a leader of like of a pirate gang.
Yes, he was a leader of a pirate gang.
Yeah. So we again wait and see. I might be surprised, but he's the one that I'm most interested. Probably because he's obviously the one with the Force and plays to the larger theme of Star Wars, doesn't he? So.
Well, that's the thing. My question, I don't even. My question is, I'm like, will you just grab the key? You could don't grab the key at any time.
True. Actually, I suppose I never thought about that.
Why did you wait until 4 small children came into the brig? I must admit, I also did laugh when he's like, "What's a brig?"
That's yeah. Well, they obviously shouted, aren't they? Brig. What's a brig? Well, they don't know, are they?
No.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Maybe he just needs some extra people around his distraction to make an escape. If he's like a bit weakened because he's been locked up and beaten up a bit.
Maybe he's a Palpatine's son.
Yeah, well, he's just one of those clones that run off again and impregnate someone.
Apparently,
it happens.
Happens. But no, look, Andy, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking about Star Wars Skeleton Crew and also going off and reviewing The Last Jedi and then going into The Rise of Skywalker and everything. It's always a great time having you on the show, and I can't wait to have you back on when we review the very last episode, because that seems to be the trend I think we've done for the last 3 Star Wars shows. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we've done. So I look forward to when you come back on here. Any final words?
I'm actually back next week, aren't I?
Actually, sorry. Yes, you are. Oh my God. Sorry. Yes, you're back next week because we are going to be reviewing Kraven the Hunter. Will it break Sony's wonderful, wonderful superhero streak, or is it going to be right back into the fold as everything else, as the rest of the wonderful Sony movies?
So yes, I'll be back next week. I'm sure we'll have a quick chat about Skeleton Crew, and we'll review Kraven. I'm all booked in to see that next weekend.
And I don't know if you do get the chance between then, if you can also watch Creature Commando. Eric, I don't know if you guys have covered this yet, but do you guys have across the Creature Commandos where you are? It's not easy to watch in Canada unless you have Adult Swim. Well, it's funny you say that, Eric, because
we've been talking about this, to be fair. It's not out in the UK yet because nowhere has picked it up to stream it yet. HBO Max shows tend to come on to get picked up by Sky TV and go onto their Now TV streaming platform. But as of yet, it's got no UK release date, which is a fucker for someone like me who needs to watch it and would like to review it, because I didn't get to watch it unless I want to become a pirate again.
I just can't believe it's not been released. I can't believe nothing's picked it up. We were talking the other day, and it wasn't pretty much until the week of Creature Commandos where I actually saw one of the streaming services here in Australia actually put a promotional thing up saying, hey, it's going to be on this platform. But the fact that it's not on anything for you, and it's the first entry into James Gunn's DCEU or DCU.
I mean, they just recently picked up the Penguin, the Sky TV Now TV that tend to pick up the HBO Max stuff. They've only recently picked up the Penguin, and they've only just finished airing it. So it's the same for Dune Prophecy as well. That's on a different part of the Sky TV package. So I have to have a Now TV package to watch the Penguin. I have to have, I think it's Sky Entertainment or something to be able to watch Dune Prophecy. So I'm not rich, to be honest. I can't afford to have 7 different streaming platforms that I'm paying for.
That's so
it's gutting the fact that I want to review Creature Commandos, the Penguin. I want to talk about Dune Prophecy because I love the films, but I can't afford to have 7, 8 different streaming platforms on the go.
I wish HBO Max would just go international and just be done with it.
Yeah, I don't know why they're not, but crazy.
Neither do I, because I've literally I've had some things go on to Amazon, I've had some things go on to Binge, and times like this, I'm like, God, Disney, can you just buy Warner Brothers? Just buy Warner Bros. Or DC and let it be done.
Would be a lot easier, to be fair.
Yeah, like Eric, oh damn, yeah, the live action stuff at least comes out the same time here.
It mostly does because obviously if it's like Netflix or Amazon Prime or Disney Plus, it's obviously the same worldwide. But it just seems to be the Warner Brothers, DC, HBO Max stuff just is either not picked up or picked up late.
Yeah, I know this is why Disney wins.
Yeah.
The TV show comes out, Star Wars, Marvel. It's just there in one click, and that's the problem. Is like I wish that's the only reason why I wish Disney would buy them. It's just so the fact that it's all one platform.
Yeah.
But if they did that, they'll probably jack up their prices even more.
And then they would get done for there being no competition because Disney would just have everything.
Exactly right. But yes, to my terrible scheduling skills, yes, Andy will be next week for doing Kraven the Hunter. And is it going to live up to the hype? But yeah, any final words, Andy?
No, just as always, mate. I really do appreciate you you letting me be on your show. It's a pleasure as always. You know how much I love your show. If you want to follow the Galactic podcast, you've been here for an hour and 15 minutes. If you're not doing it already, why the hell have you not followed already? Find Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube, as well as if you want to listen to it, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere else. And that's where you can find my show. As Lee said, I'll be back next week, which will be more than happy to do, as always.
Yeah, and hopefully he's going to pirate Creature Commandos until.
If I can just plug quickly as well, while Skeleton Crew is on, we're doing a special series-long collaboration with Clan Brandalorian. So we are every single Wednesday whilst the show is on, apart from Christmas Day, we're deferring to Boxing Day on that one. But basically, every Wednesday whilst the show is on, we're doing a live stream across both of our YouTubes as we review and react to each episode. So tune in for that every Wednesday, as well as obviously coming back to Leeds to hear his review as well, because that's why you're on. This is why you're here. We're listening to his show.
And it's always a pleasure, man, having you on here. And definitely go check it out, ladies and gentlemen. All the links will be in the episode show notes. And as always, until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.